My kingdom for a sugar-free caffeinated beverage. Hi friends. So I thought we should start another palette potential today. I have been sitting on this palette for quite some time now. It's just been kicking around and I've just been having to push it aside for other things that are more interesting to me at the time or more relevant. So this has been on the back burner for a while, and if I'm being honest with myself, it's partially because every time I look at it, I don't really know what to do with it. That being said, it is a gorgeous palette and I think you will all agree. Of course, you know already by the title of this video that we are starting a new palette potential series with the Musée Beauty Rococo palette. Ooh. Honestly, it's kind of hard to describe the color story of this palette, so I think we should just dive on in. I guess no more preamble than that. If that sounds like fun to you, then please keep on watching and let's get started. This palette is really hard for me to even picture in my head. Every time I try to remember what it looks like on the inside, it kind of just leaves my brain the second I look at it. It's such a weird palette for me and I don't know why. Initially when I first saw it launched, I was like, oh man, that is beautiful. And Musée Beauty kills it every time with the theming. Their color stories are so evocative of the artistic period that they are fashioning it after. They did the same thing with the Impressionism palette. I did a whole series on that palette as well. I will link it up here. So they really bring it to you every time. I mean, first off, I think we should just take a moment to appreciate this absolute grand slam of a packaging moment. I mean, that is just over the top, out of this world, stunning. And as unfamiliar as I am with the Impressionists, that is even more true with the Rococo era of art. So for me, I'm just gonna try and appreciate the palette for what it is in front of me. I'm sure a lot of the references will be lost on me, but if any art history buffs are out there, please leave your little tidbits of wisdom down below. Let's take a look at this color story. I love this sort of recessed box that they put the palette itself in. I think that is such a cool little design. And you don't see that often, that level of depth in the actual palette itself. But it is really satisfying. The magnetic closure is quite nice. Color story kind of runs the gamut. I always forget just how many directions this goes in. It's not straight up rainbow like the Impressionism palette was, but there's still way more options in it than I always initially remember when I'm thinking back on this palette. Again, I don't know why this palette doesn't stick in my head. It just kind of passes through. I'm having trouble building looks in my head. You can kind of see there's quads set up here for you, but in the top right quad, it is mostly shimmers. There's 3 here and there's 1 dark matte, but I love how bright the other quads in this palette are. I think that will be really fun to dig into. Right now, my eye is gravitating towards this corner, especially Blue Boy. Actually, I do think I know that reference. The boy in blue. Yeah, it's the basic painting in Animal Crossing. Oh God, I hate myself. This is an interesting quad too because it is all matte. I don't know, I just kind of feel like there must be a reason it's laid out this way, but it does feel a little all over the place for me. Please let me know if I'm completely missing the boat. Maybe there's a reference here that I'm not picking up on, but I think we should zoom in and just start playing. We've got lots to work with here and I think the series is going to be super interesting, so I think we should just get started. I don't know if it's just me, but these 2 shimmers here look awfully similar. Triumph and Apotheosis. And they're right side by side with each other, which I find really interesting. You know what I mean? Yeah, one of them is definitely deeper in tone, but they do have a family resemblance for sure. Interesting. It is endlessly fascinating to me the choices that brands will make when coming up with a palette. Of course, I'm sure there are tons of shades that go by the wayside. You know, you have to kill your darlings, as they say. And whatever is left in the palette, you have to assume are the shades that they just couldn't part with. So it's always so interesting to me when I see 2 shades that are almost identical. I've been scouring the internet for shapes to draw inspiration from. Eventually, I do want to delve really hard into the painterly vibe of the palette. I think I'll save that till a later video though, maybe save it till the end. But I found a look recently by Makeup Miss A, or Missa, I'm not actually sure how you pronounce it. And this look just had such a unique shape to it, and I've never done anything quite like that before. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of inspiration from that, but of course the color story is going to be wildly different. First things first, let's slap on a little bit of primer. All I know is that when I think of the Rococo period, I think of extravagance, excess, you know, Marie Antoinette and the powdered wigs and the beauty marks, the vibrancy, the frivolity. So I definitely want to play with that a little bit, probably further down the line, but for today, I just want to dip my toe in and get a feel for this palette. So what I want to do is I want to start with this deep brown shade and create a little shadow wing, nice and smoky, and then build color on top of that further out. So let's get started first with Grosset. I'm going to start by stamping that into the lash line and then building up a nice wing. Let's switch over to an actual angle brush now. Yeah, that's good. The shade is quite rich. That's lovely. I mean, you could just stop there. That's kind of a look. I love a soft wing, like a shadow wing. Start blending out that edge here. I might have to revisit this for the basic to bold video in this series because this is just such a moment on its own. And because of my crinkly eyelids, I have to do that weird pulled out kind of diamond shape just to get that straight line when I have my eye open. Can't wait to ruin this. Like, it started out too good. It started too strong. Can only go down from here. So my idea is to start blending some eyeshadow right in this outer third and out. And I think I want to tap into Blue Boy for this. So pretty. It's a little more muted on the lid, but it is applying nicely. And I'm trying to bring that in on a really steep angle there. All right, going back into Grosset, reinforcing it a little bit. Let's move on to a little shimmer on the lid. I'm gonna throw down a little bit of glitter primer, but not too much. I don't want this to turn into anything structured. So I'm just going to tap it on. And then try to tap it out along the edge here so that it's not a harsh line. And for this part, I'm going to use Royal. And this is very reminiscent of other shimmers that I've tried from Musée. Super soft and not overtly metallic or glittery. Just gorgeous though. To blend the two areas together on the lid, I think I want to tap into Joyous, this lavender shade. I'm trying to tap that in just on the angle here. It's almost too similar to the blue to really register as a different color. I'm just gonna take a clean brush and go over that edge. Let's go back into Royal with a finger instead. And now I'm just going back in with that brown just to build it up on this outer third a bit more. All right, the lower lash line, I think I might continue with that brown on the outer third here just to connect that. I really do love this shade on its own. I think it's just a gorgeous shade of brown. It's got a purplish undertone. So I think I'll leave it here for now because I definitely like where it is now. And if we stopped here, I would be happy. Why don't I go do this all on the other side, throw on some lashes, and when we come back, we'll finish the rest of the look. Other side is done, lashes are on. For this look, I just wanted a half lash because I feel like this whole style is very emphasized on the outer third. So I didn't want to bring lashes too far into here. So I just chopped up a pair of old Rouge and Rogue lashes. There are two little tufts of lash tacked onto the outer edge here. I feel like this side was a lot more successful. It's looking very lifted, very winged out. This side is always just a little bit droopy, and I think maybe that is just my eye. Even so, I think it's pretty cute. Let's move on to some blush. Let's start with Honey Thief. I'm trying to keep it pretty neutral though. And then I'm going to tap into a little bit of Cairo. It's one of my favorites from last year. I think I'll grab this again. I used it in my last video. It is the Melt Digital Dust Duo Blush in Raw Honey. Again, I'm just gonna pick up the lighter side, and that goes on the apple of the cheek. Now for highlight, I'm torn because I was immediately drawn towards Skywalker from Kaleidos. It's very blue, but when you put it on, it just has the most amazing reflection. I am in love with the texture of this highlighter. The other one that seems really appropriate is from Lethal Cosmetics. It's called Scatter, and it's very much like a lilac highlight, which would go tonally more with what I've got going on in the face. But this, I think I might have to just throw on top of it because the reflection is just wild. Let's go in with Scatter first. I think this one will act as a good base for the second one. And then just to top it off, a little bit of Skywalker. Do you see that? That's crazy. Never thought I would love a blue highlighter so much, but here we are. I'll throw both of those in the inner corner. Scatter from Lethal is really beautiful. It's not ultra reflective, but it just has such a beautiful glow. For the waterline, I'm gonna use the Pure On Point eyeliner in the color Down to Earth, and I'm only taking it to the 3/4 mark. For lips, I'm gonna keep it in the taupey brown arena just to match the blush here. First, I'm gonna line with Nude Truffle from NYX. And then I think I'm just gonna throw on a gloss, like really, really simple. Let's use the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Pearl. All right, let's call it a day. Oh, I didn't know this gloss was tingly. It's kind of tingly. All right, first look of this palette potential with the Rococo palette is complete. It's cute, I like it. I really like the direction it went in. It's simple, but it's really pretty, and I love the shape, and I like that my Too Much Jean didn't kick in for this one. I still feel like I am just dipping my toe into this palette. For some reason, I am feeling a lot of trepidation, which I did not feel with the Impressionism palette. I feel like the Impressionism palette had a lot more variety. It felt like it had a wider range of possibilities. This, I feel like, is a very refined, very curated palette. And for some reason that is intimidating. I really do find this color story a little bit challenging. And maybe that's why I've been putting this off for so long. There's something a bit more complex about this. Can't quite put my finger on it. And maybe I'm still feeling a little bit of that pressure to perform really beautiful looks just because of the artistic theming of this palette. I was feeling that with the Impressionism palette, and I think there is a little bit of residual anxiety about that. So I'm interested to see what direction this goes in next, because I definitely feel like I played it safe today, and I don't want to play it safe for this entire series. But I would love to know what you think of this palette, what you think of this color story. It is beautiful. Every Musée palette is basically just a work of art in and of itself, but I would love to know your thoughts. Are you excited about this new palette potential? Did you pick this one up, or did you give it a pass? Your reasons why? All of those things, please leave them down below in the comments. Also, would love to know what you think of this look. I'm trying to experiment more with shapes, you know, techniques and styles that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards. Definitely trying to branch out and keep it fresh for you guys. Also, I feel weird only doing one look in a video anymore. It's so strange that I feel like no video is complete without at least 2 looks. Do you prefer focusing on one look and going very in depth on it, or would you rather see more than one look per video? When I want to go more in depth on a palette, sometimes it's nice to just focus on one look per video, but those can be really short, and I know that most of you prefer longer videos, so I would love to know your feedback on that as well. I think I'm gonna leave it here, so I'm gonna head, but before I do, please let me rattle it off to you really quick. Here are the many ways that you can help out my channel. You can give this video a huge thumbs up, you can comment down below what you thought of everything, you can subscribe. Any and all engagement with this video is crucial to its success in the algorithm, so if you have a few spare seconds, please engage with this video. You can follow me on other social media. I will leave those right there. If you wish to support me financially, I do have a Patreon. The link is down below in the description box, along with a bunch of petitions to sign and places to donate. And with that, folks, please stay safe, stay sane, wash your hands, wear a mask, stay home if you can, get vaccinated if you can, just keep doing your best, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!